Imagine that you're walking down the street and you see someone being assaulted. You and a crowd gather around and watch as a man is beating a helpless kid. Would you step in and help the kid, or would you just stand around and watch? According to modern psychology, your reaction might actually depend upon how many people are watching. Today, we're going to take a look at the bystander effect and explore why during emergency situations, some people act while others don't. What is the bystander effect? In the simplest terms, the bystander effect is described as the phenomenon in which the greater the number of people present, the less likely people are to help a person in distress. Going back to the crowd situation, you are less likely to act and save the kid if the crowd is large and no one is doing anything. However, if it's just you and a couple of people looking at the situation, chances are that you're going to do something. This is what the bystander effect is. The bystander effect was popularized by social psychologists Bibb Latané and John Darley following the infamous murder of Kitty Genovese in New York City in 1964. The 28-year-old woman was stabbed to death outside her apartment, and no one out of the dozens of people in the crowd did anything. Everyone just stood by and watched as an innocent woman was killed in front of them. Now, why does this happen? What causes good people to just stand by and watch as something terrible happens to another person? Psychologists relate this to two main factors: the diffusion of responsibility and social influence. What diffusion of responsibility means is that when a crowd of people is watching and someone needs to do something, the responsibility of actually stepping up and doing it doesn't fall on one person's shoulders. Everyone knows that someone should do something, but since the responsibility to act falls on everyone equally, no one is actually forced to do something. Everybody just hopes someone else does it and they don't have to stand up. This hope that someone else will do something is universal among all the people in the crowd, and before you know it, it's too late and no one did anything. Everyone just hoped someone else would do it, but no one did. Now, since the responsibility was shared equally by all the members in the group, no one can be held responsible for not doing anything. All of them are guilty, but at the same time, all of them are innocent, since they genuinely believed that someone else would stand up and do something. They knew that something needed to be done, and they believe that since it's so obvious that something needs to be done, someone else will probably stand up and do it. They just have to wait. Because there are other observers, individuals do not feel as much pressure to take action as they would have if they had been witnessing it alone. Next up, we have social influence. Human beings have developed a need to behave in correct and socially acceptable ways. During a crisis situation, this need comes into play when other observers fail to react. Seeing other individuals not doing anything makes people take it as a signal that a response is not needed or not appropriate. People witnessing assault think that maybe it's not assault, and they're just confused, or maybe they just need more context to understand. And the reason that no one else is doing something is because they have more information than them, and not doing anything is probably the best response here. This was recorded during the case of Kitty Genovese too. Many of the 38 witnesses reported that they believed that they were witnessing a lover's quarrel, and did not realize that the young woman was actually being murdered. Back to the topic. People that are genuinely nice and good fail to do what's right during crisis situations because of the bystander effect. This, combined with the fact that stressful situations often make people tense up, freeze, and not know what to do, just results in the worst possible outcomes of such situations. Now, what should we do in crisis situations? How can you become an active bystander and take control of the situation, potentially saving someone's life? Number 1. Act first, make it make sense later. If you see someone being assaulted on the street or someone even looking like they are potentially being assaulted, you should step right in and do what you can to help them while taking care of your own safety. Sure, you might feel like maybe I shouldn't be doing this, and it could be a personal issue, but here's the thing. If you do act and it's not assault, all you get is a few laughs. On the other hand, if you don't act and it is assault, you just let someone be assaulted right in front of you and you did nothing. Worst case scenario on one side is that people laugh at you, while on the other, it's that the person being assaulted dies. How will you bear that in your conscience? Therefore, in confusing situations, it's always good to just act first and help the person being assaulted while taking care of your own safety. You can ask around for context later. Number 2. Call out people to help you. When you're in a crisis situation and need help, or are helping someone in a crisis situation and need assistance, call out specific people to help you, instead of just asking the crowd for help. When you ask the crowd for help, it's the same thing as before. The responsibility to help diffuses among everybody, and no one comes forward. Instead of diffusing the responsibility, you need to place it on specific people you think can help you. Call out people like, "You in the red shirt, come help me," or "You with the sunglasses, call the police." Specify who you're asking for help, so they know that it's up to them to act, and they can't just wait for someone else to come forward. Number 3. Something is better than nothing. If you're confused about what you should do, and since everybody is just standing around and watching, you feel like maybe you should too, then remember that you're not doing anything might result in someone's death. If you're hesitant about stepping in and actively standing up against the assaulter, just saying "stop" or "help is on the way" can prevent further harm. Speak up using a calm, firm tone. Give others directions to get them involved in helping too. A lot of people in the crowd may want to help, but they're just unsure about whether they should step forward or if the situation is not what it looks like. You openly calling the act as wrong and standing up against it will motivate them to stand up too, and seeing an entire crowd of people stand up against the assaulter will probably cause them to stop what they're doing and save the victim's life. People are willing to help. They just need a little push. You can be that push, and who knows? Your act of just telling the criminal to stop might actually save the victim's life. A good tip in these situations is to scare the criminal with the threat of approaching law enforcement. Tell them that the police are on the way to stop them even if they aren't. In a chaotic crisis situation even, a little fear will make them run away. And if you like this video, then check out these related videos to see more. And make sure to subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribed," and we will personally reply to your comment.